Hi, I'm Miss Wilson.
Hi, I'm Miss Lewandowski.
And we recently had the opportunity to work with your students, and we gave them a math problem.
Yeah, this one right here.
The problem was 1/3 x plus 1 2/3 equals 5 4/9. We gave them this problem because it could show us a bunch of different areas that the students do or don't know. So it would show us how well they could compute with fractions and how well they could solve equations.
So here's an example of one of our students' work from this type of problem that we gave them. This student had a couple misconceptions about how to solve this problem that other students also shared in the class. So we're just going to go through their work and kind of analyze it and bring light to what misconceptions they have so we can discuss ways that we can go about fixing them. So as you can see, this student does not know how to subtract fractions accurately. At the beginning, the student subtracts 1 from the 5, ignoring the other portions of the fractions. The student then changes the 2/3 and the 4/9 to have common denominators, but comes into trouble when they attempt to subtract these from each other and ignores the whole number in the problem. The reasoning for this is that in many problems this method would work, but it doesn't necessarily work here because the first fraction being subtracted is smaller than the second. Therefore, the student needs to borrow from the whole number.
So after analyzing that student's work and looking at a lot of other students' work, we see that a lot of them are having problems with fractions. So one method that we suggest with working with fractions to help your student is to use fraction bars. Fraction bars are great for looking at common denominators and having a visual for students so that they can really understand what a fraction means and what it's representing. So Ms. Lewandowski is going to talk you through how you can work with your student using these fraction bars.
Yeah, so for example, if we were working with the problem 3/4 and 1/3, so 3/4 minus 1/3, we would have this fraction bar to start, and we just took a bar, divided it into 4, shaded in 3 to represent 3/4. Down here, we took a bar, divided into thirds, shaded in 1 to represent 1/3. So the first thing you would need to do is find a common denominator between the two denominators, which in this case would be 12. So you would want to take your fraction bar and divide each of the squares up into what would equal 12. So for example, for 3/4 right here, we need to multiply 4 times 3 to equal 12. So we divide each of the fourths into 3 boxes as well. So once I do that, we can recognize that they're in 12ths now. So now we count how many 12ths we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 12ths shaded in. So that would be our new fraction. And then we'd have to do the same thing down here. So for 1/3 to get to 12, we'd have to take 3 times 4. So we divide each of the boxes into 4. So once we do that, we can then count how many 12ths we have. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'd write 4 12ths as our new fraction, and then we just subtract the 2. We take 9 12ths minus 4 12ths, and we get 5 12ths. So this just helps because students are able to count each box individually, and they can see how it's a lot easier to do it that way.
So now you can use this method at home if you know that your student is struggling with fractions so that you can help them build those skills so that they can eventually solve these tougher problems.
Mm-hmm.